time to go.
He's gone higher. Mommy, where are you going?
Stay with Eilish.
You said to the loo, to the loo. Do you remember you've gone to the loo? Back up when you're finished.
I do think that she's a fair idea of what's taken place, and I mean she's aware of other twins, which I think is very important for Eilish, to be aware of other twins who've gone through this, and other twins, I mean, who have maybe died together. And you know, I do think she does realise that she's a very special child. I'm glad she doesn't play on it though. I mean, we wouldn't like that to happen either. You don't want a little spoiled brat in the corner either. But no, I would say she's a fair idea of all that she's been through.
The fact that Eilish is alive, it's a gift that, you know, we were left with Eilish, and I hope she doesn't think of it that, you know, why me and why not Katie? I mean, we accept the way it has happened now. I mean, we would obviously have loved if the two of them survived, but that's not the case. So there's no point in dwelling on that because it didn't happen. So we say, you're with us, Eilish. We want you, and we're happy to have you. And even though we haven't Katie, we still have you, and you're very precious to us, and you know, we will always remember Katie.
Katie and Eilish were 3 years old in the summer of 1991. Later that year, their parents decided, after much agonizing, that the girls would be separated.
No. When we start, we'll get everyone to sing happy birthday song.
Okay.
We'll wait till they blow them out.
Surgery took place at Great Ormond Street Hospital in London. Eilish, on the left, survived, but Katie died unexpectedly of heart failure 4 days after the operation.
There was a tremendous amount of depression and despair because Eilish wasn't well at that stage either, and the thought of losing them both was horrific. So we went through a very difficult 2 to 3 week period when Eilish was struggling to survive, and the thought was always there, would we lose Eilish as well? And that would have been a major catastrophe. We would have felt absolutely awful.
Eilish spent 4 months in hospital, recovering. At first she was traumatized and barely spoke, but her parents, Mary and Liam, believe they took the right decision.
Given the same set of situations, I would do exactly the same again. And I mean, I do think when you see Eilish's life now, compared to what it could have been like, and I mean, and maybe she would never have had that opportunity of living long enough. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we do thank God that we did take that decision, because maybe we wouldn't have had either of them at this point in time.
Michael.
It's now 3 years since Eilish was separated from Katie. Like all the other 6-year-olds in the village outside Dublin, she attends the local primary school.
Colleen Ma. Garda Shin. Eilish. Colleen Ma. She's quiet in herself. She's not over excitable or anything like that. She's a lovely little personality, always cheerful and happy. So she suits the class very well. She's a lovely child. Care the thought Teddy a yin of an ish. Eilish. Colleen ma. Chasamak Eilish. Eilish be ag shul. Be ag shul. Care the thought she a yin of Lovasus. Patrick. Ag shul. Chasamak Kevin. Be ag lame. She really has a very positive attitude and she's very brave and keen to partake in everything. If she probably made a problem of her own handicap, then others would get the vibes and probably react. But because she doesn't see any problem in doing anything, I can't see that she'll ever have any serious problems in her life, really.
Eilish is much more mobile than her parents had hoped for.
Eilish, you can do a shortcut. Okay, running nice and slowly.
She's been to America where she was fitted with a lightweight leg, specially developed for her, at a research centre in Oklahoma City.
Marching around the yard. I think in the beginning when Eilish started school, she had to be carried in. She wasn't able to walk about. She had to sit on the desk all day, so people had to help her a lot. But then when she became mobile with her new leg, everything changed for her, in herself as well. She could move about, she knew it. So she gained a confidence just from her mobility that she hadn't previously. And a whole new, I think, attitude to school. She really began to enjoy school much more. I asked her this morning, did she like school? And she said she did like school very well.
Bluebird, leaning out the window, up and catch somebody. Tap, rap, rapper on my shoulder. Tap, rap, rapper on my shoulder. Tap, rap, rapper on my shoulder. I have caught somebody. China was at war with Japan. The orphanage where the children lived was in danger of attack. Gladys Aylward was taking them to another larger home in the city of Siam.
No one can say for sure what understanding a 6-year-old like Eilish has of all she's been through. But her parents say she understands a great deal and copes well.
Oh, right. So what's this word?
Feet and facts.
Yeah.
Kangaroo, leg,
No. What's the leg doing?
football,
What's it doing to the football?
kicking.
Yeah. She keeps us going, actually, at times. If we're feeling a bit down, we think, well, you know, she's so happy in herself, why should we be feeling so terrible, really? But, I mean, she will have an odd bad patch herself. You know, I know she had one maybe a while ago with her leg. It just wouldn't do something for her, and she thought, why have I not got a leg like everyone else? And, well, you tell her, well, because you don't. You know, there's just this, no point in telling her because this, that or the other, or you will when such and such, or you don't. But you've got to make the best of what you have. You'll have to fix that one yourself.
Eilish does occasionally go to Dublin to see a child psychologist. In this session, the psychologist wants to observe her playing with her sister, Mairead.
Does Eilish talk about Katie at all now?
She does, yeah. She talks about her. She sometime after we were with you, she started to talk a lot about Katie, and Katie seemed to be in her life, you know, day and night. Katie was always very easily, you know, nearby.
Yes.
And she'd have a conversation going in the car with Katie and whatever. Initially, it alarmed me a little bit, but I thought, well, I won't put a stop to it and see what happens. And she kept it up for quite a while, but after a while we realised it was good for us. We were beginning to feel a bit more relaxed about the whole situation. Now she's got out of it a little bit. She does it occasionally, but nothing. I mean, it was every day or twice a day up to that, but now seldom. I mean, if we get a nice sunny day, she'd tell us that Katie's got a torch on or something like that. But no, she's pretty okay about Katie, really. She's got some of her toys are named Katie, but more of them are not. And she calls her leg Sarah, which is her friend at school, and her crutch is Fiona, which is another girl at school. So she's, you know, I think she's pretty well adjusted myself, you know. So.
Wait, the music. Sweating. Huh? I'm sweating. So am I.
It's very hot, isn't it?
Would you like a drink?
No. Yes, please. Yes, please.
She's lost her sister, to whom she was very close, physically and psychologically. And Katie is still quite alive for Eilish in many ways. She talks about her a great deal, as the family do, and refers to her, and she's still incorporated into her nighttime, bedtime rituals. She likes to have her Katie kiss, as her mum said. But in a healthy way, not in a way that's in any way holding Eilish back.
If you go back to when Eilish and Katie were joined, Eilish seemed to be the quieter of the two, and Katie seemed to have had the more bubbly personality. But since separation, Eilish has just, you know, developed a side to her that wouldn't have been there when they were joined. She's very outgoing and lively, and has a great sense of humour, actually. That's one quality that I've come to notice in the last year, that she has an incredible sense of humour and loves to play little impish games on people, tricks, and, you know, is setting me up, and loves maybe putting down trick soap in the hand basin. And when I'm washing my face, suddenly I notice this black streak coming across my face, and I giggle from behind, saying, "I got you, Dad." You know, so that's the type of impishness that we see in her.
Thank you very
Burgers,
much.
beans and chips for the dog. And
I'm sorry, I can't feed your baby now. I'm going to
I'm not
eat
too hungry.
with my hands, I think. Oh, thank you. I think I'll wait till I have this eaten
Could you
first.
hurry up with your lettuce and
Why?
tomato?
Is there somebody else wanting this?
Maddie, it's plastic food.
Oh, right. That's an unusual tomato, I will admit.
That's a dice.
Yeah, but there's no other tomatoes.
Carrot.
And burgers, then.
Do you want me to feed Freckles? Eilish, want to help? Want to help? Yeah, come over and help. Oh.
And the big
Don't give him some cheese.
No, he eats it.
He has no table manners.
When you see Eilish happy and enjoying herself, it gives you a buzz, but it must also hurt.
Well, it hurts because you wonder, you know, what would Katie have been like? We weren't given that opportunity, so we don't know. And I suppose you can't dwell too much on the past and the maybe. You have to deal with the present. And I think 4 young children will keep you very much in the present. And I think that's good for us too. But it's nice for us to reflect a little on the past and on the maybes too. Got to give you some help up here.
Eilish still makes regular trips to Great Ormond Street Hospital in London for checkups and minor surgery. Today, her single kidney and bladder are being scanned.
Do you remember the bit about the jelly? Do you remember the jelly on your belly? It's warm jelly today. Don't know whether you had warm jelly last time.
It's not nice when it's cold.
Jelly. This is just her bladder in cross-section there. It's just the width of the bladder.
What's going on in there?
Is that your kidney? It's a funny noise, isn't it?
Eilish is also here to see her surgeon, Professor Spitz.
Hello. Hello, how are you? Are you
Hello,
well?
Professor, how are you?
You look very, very excellent today, don't you? And you've grown a lot, haven't you? How's the leg?
Okay.
Should we go and talk? Come, let's go and talk.
Go for a talk.
Come, give me a hand. Off we go.
Lovely.
You're walking very well indeed.
Yeah.
No stick? Do you use your stick sometimes?
Sometimes.
Good girl. And how is school?
Okay.
Are you the cleverest in your class? Nearly.
Almost.
So, how have things been for the last 6 months?
Well, health-wise, she's been in excellent form. She hasn't had any big problems at all. There is one area that doesn't seem to heal over. It never gets terribly bad, but it never gets really well. And perhaps you could have a look at that later on or whatever.
Right.
And decide, you know, I do. But compared to what the wound was like, I mean, it has healed incredible.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
The wound, as you remember, from the beginning was
Yeah.
extremely wide.
It was.
And was covered by mesh, but eventually the skin grew over the top, and it has grown together. The edges of the wound have come together, leaving a section in the middle which has probably got mesh underneath it, and that is probably the reason
That's what I
that these
wondered.
areas are breaking down.
Yeah.
So what we could do in the future, next time you come, is to explore that little area, and if there is some mesh underneath there,
Right.
to remove it, and then hopefully the wound will just close over again.
Oh, that would be great.
And that obviously would help with the prosthesis.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm sure that will help. Well, I hadn't seen her for 6 months, and seeing her today and her speaking to me for the first time was really enjoyable. And I felt that, you know, we had achieved something. We'd at last reached a rapport with her, and I was delighted to see her.
So before today, she hadn't been speaking to you.
She never spoke to me.
Why was that?
Well, I think from the psychological point of view, she'd felt that I may have been responsible for taking away her sister. And she may have blamed me for it. But now I think she's come to terms with it and seems to be happy and content in herself.
No. You all right? Good girl. There's no need to rush. That's great. Do you think she liked the colour of the flowers? She likes pink, doesn't she? Oh, always did. That was her favourite colour always, wasn't it? Great. You all right? You okay?
Each time on my leaving home, I run back to my mother's home. One last hold and then it's over.
Now, don't look back at the flowers, do you? Do you want to pick some flowers as well? Okay. Where are all the flowers? I don't think we're talking about that. Yes. Okay, put some on the other side if you want.
That's a big claw.
Yeah. What's that?
Casey.
That's right.
I meant to spell Casey.
Yeah, spell it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I'll spell H-1-2-N.
That's right. We're very fast.
A child with promises. All I
Right, do you want to make the little hole? Do you want to kneel down there?
Eyes full of promises
That's it. Now.
days will pass, your words to me, it seems so long, eternity, but I must wait and then it's over.
The Holtons are preparing for a trip to America. Eilish has now had her artificial limb for 6 months, but she's rapidly outgrowing it.
Yeah, some lovely pictures. From the Hensels, so you can have a look at these.
In America, the Holtons will meet the Hensels, a family they've corresponded with for years.
There you go. That's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
That's Abigail and that's Brittany.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, beautiful.
It's amazing, right? I mean, to see them standing up, like, I mean, Katie and Eilish never, ever stood up.
There's no support at all. They're just walking. They're freestanding. There's a balance, and they're obviously very happy. You know,
look at
two of them are smiling, and
yeah.
they're doing. Ah, yeah. Here's a picture with them all. Happy holidays.
Yeah,
It's loves Patty and
yeah.
Mike. That's beautiful. Lovely smiles.
Since the separation of Katie and Eilish, Mary and Liam have been contacted by a number of families around the world with conjoined twins. In a few days, they'll meet the Hensels for the first time.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. You know, I'd really like to meet with the family and Abigail and Brittany and see how they are. And I'm sure we're going to find that they're ordinary people just like ourselves.
I don't know how it's going to affect us meeting Abigail and Brittany and the parents, because, you know, Abigail and Brittany are still joined, and so I feel that it could be a very emotional meeting, because I think it's going to open up a lot of, you know, old, you know, memories of what we went through, you know, when Katie and Eilish were joined, and I'm just bracing myself to be maybe rocked a bit.
The Hensels live in America's Midwest. Abigail on the left and Brittany on the right are well known and accepted in their small rural community.
You want to eat out of your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys like singing, don't you?
I'm sure when they get older it'll be a little bit tougher. I mean, kids are kids, they'll all be saying something, but they're pretty outgoing.
They're pretty witty though. They have good answers for if they're asked ever why they're together. We've had a few comments like why are they wrapped in the same skin together, or why are they in the same shirt together, and they usually just say, "'Cause we're twins."
And we're born that way.
And we're born that way is their other answer.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to, well, they're pretty young, but it really doesn't seem to bother them.
Diner.
Pretty soon we'll ride them again, won't we, girl?
Yeah. As soon as it's done snowing.
The Holtons have been in regular contact with the Hensels, offering information and support, but they've always been careful to avoid influencing them on the question of separation.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably get a very true picture of what separation can bring, both in quality of life and in also the risk of, you know, going through a separation. You know, we have one surviving twin. So, I mean, we're not selling separation by letting Eilish meet the twins, because one side of it, all right, will say that here's good quality of life. Here's Eilish, you know, she's free of being joined to another human being. But then on the other side, where's the other human being? The other human being is dead. So it gives them, you know, the real situation. It doesn't dress it up and say, hey, there's, you know, you must go for separation.
And a big happy smile and some whiskers for my dad. Now I need a pink.
Oh man. Thank you.
Now I'm going to draw something cute.
Cute. Okay. I think if we were to separate them, we could probably make them handicapped. I don't think now they have a handicap. And if it's something that would be done now, to me, I would be wrecking their whole childhood. I would be putting them through because it would be more than one procedure that would have to be done. It would probably be frequent hospitalizations, and we don't want to lose any of them make them be what society thinks is normal.
I don't think we could take it if we lost either one of them.
That one, the Christmas tree.
Let me see.
Wait till I'm done.
Hello. Hi. The past is to say that we've met at last. Hello. Oh.
How's everybody?
How are you, girls?
Hi. Yeah, no. And Abby.
Hi, Abby.
And Brittany.
Brittany. Great. And someone's drawing a picture. I see a lovely picture.
They're making you guys a picture of our house, our new house.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
that you can take it.
Like all conjoined twins, the issue of separation is always there. Abigail and Brittany's doctors have said they can be separated, but the operation would be very risky.
Big ones?
Oh, tickles. Eilish has loads of tickles as well. And so has Mairead.
At the moment, Patty and Mike have decided not to go ahead, but they're still keen to hear how Mary and Liam came to their decision.
We two healthy children.
You know, and if he
or
wanted not one.
fairly healthy, you know, and fairly good quality of life.
Yeah, it wasn't too
and
bad.
why, you know, I said, well, you know, why risk it if you know, I mean, it'd be different if they had to be separated, you know. But like here they are, they're you know, they're 2 years of age or 2.5 years of age, and they seem to be happy. And I mean, you know, why are we going to go in and, you know, take a risk with their lives just to sort of normalise them, you know, with inverted commas. But we met Professor Spitz in Dublin, and he said it was possible, and he gave us a fairly good, you know, a survival possibility. You know, he gave us well over a 50% chance that both would survive, and that was one of the conditions we had. You know, if we got a greater chance than 50% survival rate, and that both went in sharing the risks, that both were at equal risk, we'd consider it. I mean, we don't know, you know, the medical circumstances. You know, you're the parents, and you know, you
know more
like
about
you
your twins
feel
than
is best for your
anyone
children,
else.
and we respect that. And like all we're here to do is just to
meet up and
check hands. So
great.
we've walked the path with you. You know, we
right.
know what you're going through, and you know, we just wish you well, and you know, that's.
I guess
how
if
it
the
functions.
girls wouldn't be real healthy, as healthy as they are, I guess we would really look into it pretty deep. That if it had to be done, we would definitely look into it. But they've been doing so well.
They've been doing great.
And we talked to them.
Yeah,
we
we're
asked them
able
at
to.
times. We said, "Would you girls, you know, would you like to be separated?" And they seem to want to stay together. And until they tell us or medical would make us do it, I guess we're going to leave it up to them. And when they get 6 or 10 or whatever it may be, we'll be behind them 110% and really research into it. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea for us to research into it so we'd know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in case.
But it's
something
tough
happened,
with
but
4 kids. It's tough to,
Yeah.
They could come to our house, it'd be great.
Actually, that stimulates something, you know, just when you say in case something would happen. And I remember saying to one of the people in Crumlin, the surgeon, I just said, well, I suppose it would be nice to know what each child's anatomy is in case there has to be an emergency operation to save one from the other. And he quite, you know, firmly said, listen, if it comes down to that, you'll lose both. You won't have time to
You won't have time.
save one against the other.
Almost like
because
a military procedure.
yeah, it took 2 months, 3 months.
It took 3 months preparation. And that's not the, and that's not the
That's good to
personnel.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could come to our house, it'd be great.
Has seeing Eilish or talking to Mary and Liam today in any way influenced you?
I don't think so.
no, absolutely not. If there would be medical reasons that we would have to separate them, we would definitely look into it. But as happy as I see him now, I don't think I'd want to really destroy that.
You know, I wouldn't like to be Patty and Mike in having to make a decision. You know, I don't know. I suppose I'm glad that my decisions are made and I don't have to make decisions, and I don't think I could cope with having to do that again.
Do you know what I saw today was just, it was very emotional. I mean, I nearly cried just talking to them because it just brought up so much of Katie and Eilish and the similarities and, you know, the behaviour and, you know, It's just so close to us in a lot of ways. It has to affect us, and afterwards I think we'll be just we'll it will affect us. I think looking back on this day, it'll always be very foremost in our mind what we experienced today.
Get a felt tip? I didn't think so. Did you think?
Eilish and her parents have come back to the Seperating Centre in Oklahoma City, one of the world's leading research centres for prosthetics.
Gonna walk the line.
Gonna walk the line. Give us a better idea of
Johnny
your...
Cash is.
How old are you, Kevin?
You're giving away your age there, Kevin. It's true.
I'll go down there. You're gonna get in there.
I'll tell you what though, Kevin, she adapts to whatever length you put on her. And so I would say relative to the scoliosis, whichever way fights the scoliosis
Go back
best.
to your dad again.
We get from Dr. Murad about if we force her to have a longer leg, she's going to have trouble walking. But she will adapt to it. But I'm curious what he says about the scoliosis.
Eilish's case is particularly difficult. She has half her pelvis missing and needs a special plastic socket which wraps around her body and holds the artificial leg in place.
Almost the shorter the leg is, the better for the scoliosis.
Kevin Carroll, who designed Eilish's socket, first met her in Ireland.
Goes to the apex is to the left.
Eilish, you are so much better than you was when you left here.
That's great. Very good. She was just dragging herself around on the floor, which I felt for a 5.5-year-old, it's about time that we had her walking. So I talked to Mary and Liam and said, here's a little girl, I know she can walk. She can do it. And that gave them the inspiration and the encouragement to say, okay, why not come to the United States and have this work done? The prosthesis is a little bit short, and that's why she's wanting to have it bent. Oh. Stand on my hand here. Lift this leg. Now stand on my hand. Now stand straight. Straight. See? That better. Put weight on my hand. Good.
Well, really, my biggest wish is to make a more bone and less a contoured socket.
She seems to respond to all the demands that are put upon her by all the people she meets in a very, ideal way. She's very determined, and they have to play along with Eilish's determination. And I think that's a tribute to the people here too. They can see that quality in Eilish, and they can work with her rather than go against her.
And when I'm bending down like that, always look over this bar, okay?
Maybe I'd stand over there.
Okay, just have her keep. Your mom is going to be standing behind me, and you just keep looking at your mom, okay? So now you're going to get plastered. The first time we had to wrap her body with plaster of Paris, that was so new to her. And she was saying, who are these people? Why are they doing this? These are all things that's going on inside in her head. She found that very hard to take, and she was very apprehensive.
Good. You're strong, ain't you?
But this time, she just stood up so straight and looked us in the eyes and kind of much say, am I standing correctly for you? am I doing everything correctly? So that shows me that here she's part of our team.
She's doing pretty well. I mean, at times you think, oh, she's got to be able to bear up under all this, walking up and down with the bars and all the rest of it. But it's amazing she does. And I mean, her rest periods, she really kind of, totally unwinds and is ready to start working again then when work comes her way again. But that's the type of child she is.
Okay, now you need to make yourself nice and small.
She's after disappearing in there.
Yeah, she's did. See how small she's made herself.
Oh, she's great.
Bring your tummy in. Yes, it in, sir. Keep your tummy in. You get your finger underneath. You can breathe if you want. That's better. You're so good. She's great.
While Eilish's socket is being made in the workshop, the Seperating Centre has organised a programme of physiotherapy for her.
I give you another shot. Okay. Here we go. Pretty close. We're getting close. I'm not very good at this game, Eilish. Ooh, close. Well, look at there. I have a longer arm. That's not fair, is it? Have you ever done any swimming? Do you know how to float? You do? Does it scare you to float? Not at all? And your ears will get wet. Is that okay? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pick your leg up here. Okay, you wanna put your arm around my neck? There you go. All right, and I'm gonna put my hand right here behind your head. You relax. There you go. How about that? Good. Oh, we're gonna have to turn around. You're gonna run right into the wall. That would not be good. Okay, here we go. And swim. Reach way up there with that arm. There you go. Reach way up there.
There you go. Hey, way to do it.
Looks better already.
Good. You want to turn around?
The new socket and leg are now ready to be tried out.
Just hold. Okay, good. She's just going straight away. Okay, just hold on with your this hand.
See how the foot has very little action in it?
Yeah, we can get more. Okay, keep going. Keep walking. Look up at me. Look
It's
up
like
at
her
me.
old foot.
Good. Good.
Where's your cane? Where's your cane?
Yeah, there you go.
She doesn't need these parallel bars.
Okay. And now here's your cane, and you can just really go, can't you? All right, keep coming.
It's either too long for her or she's not used to it that length. Why don't we shorten it a couple of millimeters, and I'll reduce the foot size to get more spring in it.
Okay. Go back towards Charles.
Get her active foot on there. I want to see that foot bend when she goes over the top of it. I want it to propel her forward, not her having to body English.
Yeah, she's not getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. A little faster, Eilish, if you
Good.
can. Eilish, you are cooperating so well this time.
That prosthesis, that initial artificial limb or her leg, it's not a prosthesis to Eilish. It's not a artificial limb to Eilish. It's part of her body. It became part of her body. So for Eilish to actually give up that old limb and take a new limb, it was sort of like me taking my real limb off and putting it aside and putting a new one on. So she had to bond with the new prosthesis. So yesterday, I spent some time talking her through the idea of getting a new prosthesis and walking with a new prosthesis. So Eilish accepted the new prosthesis when she decided that she was going to name it. And she named it, her new prosthesis yesterday, she named it Katie, which was her little sister. And that showed me that she was putting her arms around her new prosthesis, her new artificial limb, and said, now this is part of me.
Eilish, does this socket feel like different than the other socket? Feel funny? No.
Did it feel better than the old one?
Does it feel better?
It just feels new, does it?
Like a new pair of
It
shoes.
needs about an hour to get used to it.
About an hour? Well, let's slip it off then and let's go ahead and let's make our corrections.
I think she's happy. Are you happy?
And also,
Oh, yeah.
once we get some sort of a
Is your new leg okay, is it?
That's good. It's going to help. If we could glue a piece of soft foam or something to the bottom of the foot.
Oh, you feel very well. We got tickles in there.
No.
No? Oh dear. Now, you going to help me here? Ups and daisies with that. We catch that bit there. No.
Back home in Ireland, Eilish's new leg is a great success.
Ow. Is it all right? Feel okay? Yeah. Now, I can go back up there.
Physically, she's been very active. I mean, she's walking now nearly all the time without the crutch, and her general health is very good. She doesn't have any kidney infections. She doesn't seem to have any problems with, friction wounds, and she's just progressing, very rapidly to get the most out of that prosthesis.
Will they fit this one? What do you call this leg? Can you remember?
Katie.
This is Katie. Yeah. Now look, poor Katie's getting very, very, worn out. You don't give her an easy time.
The new leg has given her a great leap forward. It's been the definitive answer to a lot of our immediate worries with Eilish, and it's just marvellous.
It's the little boot that's hard to get on. What do we need to use for it?
The shoe.
Yeah. Now, the hair. Can we do that? I'll do it. I'll put you sitting right up there. Hi, gorgeous. You happy now?
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do today?
Ride my bike.
You're going to ride your bike. Lovely.
Okay.
That's it, up.
Up you go.
I'll give you a lift on there. Now, can you sit down on it? No? This leg? Yeah, well, I'm going to do something with this leg. Look, I've got something here.
Yeah.
I hope this will work out, okay?
You're going to tie on.
Oh, well, we can bend it, no bother, I hope. Now a minute. Yeah, there you go.
She was all keyed up about getting on it, and then when she actually got on it, I think she was a bit apprehensive, what am I to do now? Or, how do you ride this darn thing? Just like any child, I suppose, being put up on a bicycle for the first time.
Now, do you want to try this yourself?
Good girl. Go on, keep pedaling. That's it.
Down with your right foot.
Down with your right foot.
You don't look at the pedals, actually, maybe, Eilish.
Yeah,
You
just
try
look
and
ahead
steer.
of you, Eilish. And keep pushing
And I'll
your
work the pedals,
foot
and then
down.
you get the idea.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Go on.
That's it.
That's it. Go
Yeah.
on. Right
Keep
round.
going.
Keep pushing.
That's
yeah,
it.
you have it. Good girl. That's it. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it fun, Eilish?
Come on, Eilish. Eilish, steer out,
Of course
please.
it's fun. It's great fun.
All right.
That's it. Yeah, you're getting it, Eilish. Good.
Now, push again. That's it. Push again. Yeah, is that fun? I think you can manage this.
That's brilliant. Come on, keep going.
Push down.
Come on, yeah. You're okay. Good girl.
Eilish and her parents are back in Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, this time to meet an Italian family. The De Conzas turned to the Holtons for support when they decided to have their conjoined twins separated. Both survived the operation, but Mario died recently, leaving just Ben.
Their situation has become sort of similar to our situation. They're left with one surviving twin, just like we are, and I felt that we were even going to be even in a closer situation, and that I felt that the hug and the welcome we got, expressed that, even though we couldn't talk to them because of the language barrier, but I just felt that, grip that they gave us, and, that they just said, and we now know what you've been through, we know the hurt and the loss and the pain of losing a child, and you still you have to worry about the surviving child, and like they were over to have an assessment done on Ben for surgery.
Yes,
we quite wanted to go over and be with them and share whatever few thoughts we have with them. I I would like if they'd come and visit us here maybe at some stage. I mean, I do understand that it's quite a distance away, but and obviously there's a language barrier, but I feel they probably will. And you know, I think whereas we may not go across to see them every time they come to Great Ormond Street, but certainly through the interpreters and that we keep in contact on how each child is doing and all that, because there are so few of us that it's nice to keep up this contact.
Look, you've got to see people. Got to give them a cuddle. Give them back.
Gotta give people a cuddle.
No. No. We've had a ciao, Eilish. Chiama Eilish. Chiama già. Chiama bimba, già.
You remember Katie?
Mm-hmm.
What can you remember about her?
I know something.
Go on.
Katie always used the liquor on the neck.
and I always said, "I'll bite you, baby,"
or "I'll hit you, baby," or "I'll pinch you, baby."
So was Katie a bit of a terror?
Yes.
Just like you? What else do you remember about Katie? Therese?
She was giddy.
She was very giddy.
She used to bring me around everywhere.
Yeah, Eilish couldn't go wherever she wanted.
No.
Katie, I was Eilish, right?
Yeah.
She was the boss, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
She liked freckles as well.
Yeah. So did I. So do I.
Yes,
I still do.
And Therese, tell us what happened to Katie.
She had 2 heart attacks, and the last one she died.
And where is she now?
Heaven.
And do you think she's happy in heaven?
Yeah.
She realises that there are other conjoined twins in the world. There are ones that are separate and there are ones that remain together. And, you know, we hope that she appreciates the road we choose for her. And, you know, I think she does, actually. I mean, you know, when you take her back and you ask her, she seems to think, yeah, well, you know, she prefers to be the individual that she is today as opposed to be attached to yet another individual.